don't have to spend a lot of money to make an old golf cart look amazing.
GolfCartingTV is your inside source for the coolest upgrades, mods, and accessories to take your trusty golf cart from drab to fab.
Hey there, and welcome back to GolfCartingTV. My name is Matt with Converted Carts, and we're thrilled to have you back here for another episode. In today's episode, we have a cart that I think is probably the lowest budget but best looking cart for the money that I've ever seen. But first, let's say thank you to our sponsor, Bolt Energy. Bolt is the maker of high-quality lithium golf cart batteries. You've got to experience the power of Bolt Energy. BoltEnergyUSA.com. So the cart we're looking at today is built on a budget, but you wouldn't know that by looking at it. So I'm excited to share. This is an old Yamaha cart, and you wouldn't know it if you looked at it. So let's take a look and see what has been done to this old 1993 Yamaha G8. Great. So we are joined today by Steve. He is another fellow Ohioan like myself. So Steve, why don't you, if you don't mind, take a minute, just introduce yourself, where you're based, and give us a little bit of the details, just kind of background about the cart that you started with here.
I'm Steve Berryman. I live here in Northwest Ohio, Van Wert, Ohio, actually, a little small town. The cart is 1993 Yamaha G8, which I believe someone at some point put a like a G16 body on. But it was quite an undertaking, a lot more than what I thought it was going to be when I first started.
I bet. I think it always is. Cool. So Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about this old Yamaha that you got here?
All right. This started out as a 93 Yamaha G8. And it was probably some old farmer that had it. It was still ran good, just didn't go very fast. And the people I bought it off of said, well, we think it needs a clutch. And I kind of looked it over and said, all right, well, I'll buy it off you. I need a project for the winter. And so that's what it turned into. I bought it in June and it sat probably until about August, kind of picked up parts here and there for it. First thing I did was got a new clutch for it. And that was never done any of that kind of stuff before. I am kind of a hands-on person. So that was pretty easy. I don't mind. I'm very mechanical. I don't mind changing parts or fixing, learn how to do things. So watch a small video and kind of how to change that, and pretty straightforward, pretty simple to do that. Started finding things on Marketplace, just parts and pieces. The 6-inch lift that's on it now, actually found off a guy on Marketplace who bought a cart and didn't want the 6-inch lift. So the 6-inch lift was brand new in the box and was perfect for what I needed. The headlights that are on there, obviously they're not a G8 or a G16, any type of headlight. They're the drive headlights. Picked those up off a guy on Marketplace for $25. Couldn't ask for any cheaper headlights than that. Some people call them, I don't know, make them sound, they say they look a little bug-eyed. I actually kind of like the look. It did take me a lot to get up a nerve to take my Dremel and actually cut the body out to make them fit.
I bet. So that was something you knew, because of the body shape, those are from a different cart. So you were able to then come in and, based on the back end of those lights, basically just kind of Dremel out and cut those to a point where you were able to make them fit.
I downloaded a template online and kind of placed it this way and that way and was able to make it fit. I did see that a few other people online had put some in, so I kind of took cues from some of their pictures of their carts and was able to make that work.
Nice.
The seats that are on it are actually off of a Star EV cart. So I don't know if you know what the Star brand is.
Sure.
I had never heard of it before. I saw the seats online. I'm like, those are perfect. I mean, for what I needed. So picked those up for $100. Couldn't ask for custom seats for cheap. and they were front and rear to boot.
Very good. And they fit on there pretty well, or you had to work around some things to make it fit?
I did have to modify. The back cover is you can see it. The back cover is notched. Like I've notched all the plastic to fit the stock brackets and such. And then the seat base or whatever basically just, I mean, screwed right on to the factory base.
That's awesome when it works out like that.
Yeah, everything seemed to come together pretty easily for this cart. I mean, it's once I got past the initial like metal work and whatnot that needed to be done, because the frame was like the outside, the rocker pieces were pretty gone. The main tube frame was great. It was solid. Everything was great with it. My son and I tore everything. I mean, ton of the rust and pieces off the frame. And then when we got it back from the guy who had to do the welding and stuff for me, he and I undercoated the entire frame and then painted everything else black.
Nice. And then that's a rear seat kit that you added on there as well, and that all came together with the front seat, or you said just the seats themselves came with that?
Just the seats came with it. The rear seat kit is actually off a Yamaha Drive, and so we had to modify the way the brackets work. I had the guy that did the welding for me actually. He made this bracket, and we welded it on to the front seat brackets, the factory seat brackets, and everything sits perfect here. Added a little metal to the rear in the golf bag, and everything seems to line up really good. I was very impressed with how everything turned out. When I went looking for a rear seat for it, every place I was telling me was saying you're gonna have a hard time finding one for as old a cart as you have. And I said,
right,
well, what do you have? And they said they had a Drive. I went out and looked at it. I said, I'll take it. I've made everything work this far. I'm pretty sure I can make that work.
That's awesome. And then you got some the wheels and tires you added on there. What size do you have there, and what's going on?
Yeah, the wheels and tires are 22/11 by 12s. Picked up the rims they're a little scuffed up, but I picked them up from a local guy for $50. So
wow.
I don't think I'm going to find a set of custom wheels for $50 anywhere.
Not at all. This is fantastic.
The tires that are on it are the Sahara Classics, and those I ended up getting off a marketplace, and it was an older gentleman that just didn't want the knobby tires anymore, and so he made me a heck of a deal on those. And then the rockers that are on there, the diamond plate, the black powder coated, and then I got a kick panel there, whatever. Those are from PBR products. I was really impressed. Everything's really the quality of it and how everything fit was great.
That's great.
Was able to pick up the roof, the 80-inch roof for it, and we got those off. I actually picked those up from where I got the seat from. And they made me a heck of a deal on the roof, because they told me that they were discontinuing those, I guess, or they weren't going to carry them anymore.
Okay. That's great. And so you mentioned the timing. So it was like last June, and then you built it through the winter. So is this the first time, or was this like 2 years ago? Like what's the timing on it so far right now?
I finished up with this probably a month and a half ago. Had a guy do, I started finishing up putting things together, and wasn't going to paint it, was just going to say the heck with it and put everything back together and at least use it for the camping season. And my wife was like, if you're going to do it, she goes, just get it painted and be done with it. She goes, I'd much rather you do it all once. And so the color on it is off a 2024 Kia Seltos. It's called Pluton Blue. So it's like a blue gray, but
yeah,
I was absolutely love how it turned out.
I love that color. That looks really nice. Looks like was there to begin with, which is always good.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very
Cool.
impressed. I the going back to the marketplace thing, I found the guy to paint the card off of marketplace. It was and now I've become pretty good friends with him or whatever. So
That's cool. We'll just make known we're not sponsored by Facebook Marketplace. However,
yeah,
there is a lot of good stuff you can get out there. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, so if you don't mind, and you don't have to share if you don't want to, but if you don't mind, what are you all in? I mean, it seems like a pretty good deals you've gotten all around.
in buying the cart and everything that I've done to it so far, I'm under 3,000.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So I'm super happy with how everything turned out.
You need to be a golf cart consultant where you can work with people and find all these deals. That's unheard of. That's really good.
It's time. I mean, it's just I with my job, if I have to sit for a little bit, I drive truck. So if I have to sit somewhere for a little bit, I usually pull it up and I'm kind of buzzing through or whatever to see what I can find.
Nice. Well, that is awesome. What would you say is what was the hardest thing in the whole project for you think?
Putting the headlights in, because I knew if I messed the front up, I didn't know if I could find another cowl for it.
Right.
And if I could, how much was it going to cost me to get it? So
right. Yeah, and that's impressive. I mean, like, again, you can't see any details, but I assume it worked out well. It looks like it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, everything seemed to fit really well. I'm barely a little gap under here, under the bottom of the headlight, but otherwise everything fits nice and tight on the body. I was like, and I have them aimed down a little bit more just because, well, they're being LED and us being at the campground. I don't really want to blind the other people or whatever driving around either.
Yeah, very courteous. Awesome. Well, thanks, Steve. I really appreciate it. You've done a fantastic job, and at the budget that you had too. I mean, I haven't seen a cart like that for that price. So well done. And again, really appreciate you coming out and sharing it with us today.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate you taking the time and having me on here.
Well, I don't know how many times I said fantastic or awesome or impressive or whatever, but that was truly all of those things. So hope you enjoyed looking at that. Hope you got some creative ideas, that it doesn't always take something crazy and special and lots of money to make these things happen. So it's great to see just some innovation and creativity to make a cart look great. Please like, subscribe, share, and we hope to see you back here next Wednesday at noon. Always have a new episode dropping. We'll see you then.